Today, we are talking about one of the biggest things that people completely leave out of their webinar that will more than double your conversion rate. So, what are the main objections that your audience has to what your product or service is? Time and money are always the first two that come to mind, but there are several others that are dependent specifically on what you are selling at the end of the webinar. And here's something that a lot of people miss. They never bake in ways to overcome the objections really early on in the webinar. When your webinar is out here and people are just getting started, you should know what their objections are, and you should work in little stories, little reframes, and ways to overcome their objections before you ever get to the pitch. Here's the thing. Think about the stories that you tell. Think about the main teaching points that you have in your webinar, and think about where people's resistance to them come, right? So specifically, you might be watching this and thinking, I would love to do a webinar, but I'm just not good on camera. I just don't have that kind of poise or energy. And what I would tell you is it's not about how good you are on camera right now. What it's about is being able to learn, being able to break through those barriers. And if you're teachable, you can definitely hold a profitable webinar. So one of the people that I worked with specifically was very shy, and she was like, there is no way I can do Facebook Lives. Well, we worked with her. I got her comfortable on camera, and before you knew it, she did her first Facebook Live, and it wasn't easy. She sat there. She was sending me text messages. She was like, I hate you for making me do this. She stared at her phone for 3 hours with it all set up. She had the little blurb written for her Facebook Live, but she couldn't press the button. And then finally she did. She did her first Facebook Live. She got more than 900 views, and it turned into more than $3,000 in her pocket, all from just learning how to do a Facebook Live and practicing, working with me. Now, you see what I just did there? I called out the objection, I reframed it, and I told a story about how somebody overcame it. You can work those in throughout your entire webinar. So I've analyzed more than 100 different webinars, probably 150 at this point. And the great ones, well, let's start with the good ones. The good ones have at least 10 reframes in them that overcome objections from the start of the webinar to the offer. Great ones have more than 15. I've seen one that had, I want to say, like 18. So you can see how powerful that is. The more you overcome objections out here, one, people will stay on till your offer, because if they're watching and they're like, oh, this just isn't for me, they'll tune off. But if they say, well, I don't think this is for me, and then you immediately break that objection, they're going to stay on, and they're going to lean in even harder because you have now changed their perspective on something. Now, the other thing you can do is in the offer, you can overcome objections through testimonials. Putting in great testimonials will help overcome their objections in the offer, help get them off the fence from a maybe into a yes. The last piece is at the very end of your webinar. You can totally just keep going through objection after objection after objection and overcoming them through stories, through testimonials, through case studies. If this makes sense to you and you would like to see how you can bake this into your webinar, I want you to look down in the description below. There are 3 different things that we do for people. There's a free mini class down below. It's 5 short videos and a workbook that will help you build your rockstar webinar. The second way, if you have a webinar, but it's not performing the way that you want, I do a webinar fix where I go in and I break down your webinar and I tell you everything that I would do, and I coach you on how to get better at performing it, because performing it is where the real power in a webinar lies. The third way is if you know you need a webinar in your business and you would like me to help you build it, I'll take you by the hand. We'll build the webinar, we'll build the deck, we'll build the landing page, we'll build the ads, we'll do everything for it. Click on the link down below, schedule a free strategy session with me where we'll sit down and we'll see how we can work together and if we'd be a good fit. Hey guys, if you enjoy these videos, make sure to click the like and subscribe button. That way you will always get the best information right away.